We can see from our perch at the Donahue Rowing Center that both crews are adjusting, getting straightened out, pointed down the race course. Looks like both crews are having a little bit of trouble getting pointed. And it should be noted they are both novice crews. They did not have heats this morning, so this is their first experience at the starting line here in Worcester under the Interstate 290 bridge. And we have a start. Princeton in lane 1. Left-hand side of your screen, Harvard in lane 2. As the crews come out from underneath the shadows of the bridge, it looks like fairly closely matched at this point. Radcliffe in lane 2 as we get out to about 250 meters gone, has worked its way out to about a half a length lead on Princeton in the early going. Both crews appear to have settled into their race rhythm. Radcliffe slightly higher than Princeton. Radcliffe looks to be at about 34.5 to 35. Princeton at about 34. And as we reach the 400 meter mark at the north corner of the DRC dock, Radcliffe has pushed their lead out here to about 3/4 of a length, maybe a little bit more. Looks like they're trying to break contact here with Princeton before 500 meters. And as they cross directly in front of us, in fact, Radcliffe has broken it open. They now have slight amount of open water on Princeton. And we'll send it over to the ship-to-shore boat and Colleen Seville.
For grand final, one of these boats will take home a medal, and right now it looks like it'll be Radcliffe. Still very early on in this race as the crews move through the first 500 and step into the middle 1,000 of this race. It is Radcliffe over Princeton by 1 boat length. This is the lightweight novice 4. Radcliffe continuing to move now, definitely through the first 500. They took some kind of a move as they walk away from Princeton into an open water lead. And these crews now both in the second 500, middle 1,000 of this race. Looks like Radcliffe's around a 31 stroke rate, strokes per minute. Both crews stepping into a little bit of a headwind here. We see some more wind than we saw this morning. Still pretty decent conditions, though a little cold, a little wet, and it's Radcliffe over Princeton, now maintaining their margin of open water just by about a couple of seats here. Mid-second 500, lightweight women's novice 4, and this is the first grand final of the afternoon for women's sprints today. And Radcliffe and Princeton now maintaining their margins here. We'll see what Princeton can get up to in the second 500-meter stretch, but we saw them walk into the middle 1,000 pretty much at this distance away from each other. Right now with about 2 seats of open water between these two shells. Headwind picking up a little bit here as we approach the 1,000-meter mark. Radcliffe sitting around 30, 31 strokes per minute. And again, these crews seem to be maintaining this margin between them. We'll see if Radcliffe can open it up or if Princeton can walk back as we step into the second 1,000 of this race. Again, you'll hear the wind get a little bit gustier. We can feel it as we step into the second 1,000, starting to gust a touch, but it's a pretty direct headwind. Doesn't look too much like a crosswind. Princeton seems to have taken back maybe 1 seat or so from Radcliffe, starting to walk over there. Radcliffe up around 31, 32. Their crews now bow to stern as we step into the second 1,000 of this race and the third 500 grand final of the lightweight Novice 4. It's Radcliffe out of the gate. They've been leading this entire race. Mid-third 500, we'll see if Princeton can walk back on them. Radcliffe sitting at 31, bow to stern. Both crews in the third 500, approaching the last stretch of this race, and it's Princeton at a 31. Crews now walking with just about 800 meters to go. Radcliffe maintaining their lead over Princeton. We see these crews sitting on this margin here. Radcliffe working to open it up and Princeton working to pull them back in. Looks like Princeton has taken some kind of a move at about 800 to go. Pretty nice spot for a good 20-stroke move. But they seem to be maintaining this margin. Princeton may be up at about a 32 and a half, 32 or so. And the lightweight women's Novice 4 first grand final of the afternoon. And it's Radcliffe over Princeton, again maintaining this margin as these crews approach the 500 to go in just about 30 strokes. Still a little bit of a headwind here, but it looks like they might get some shelter from the wind as they close into the last stretch of this race, but it's Radcliffe right now. Princeton still trying to push their bow ball into the stern deck, but these crews are sitting about 1 length away from each other. In the lightweight women's Novice 4, it's Radcliffe over Princeton, approaching the 500 to go. Princeton at about a 31. Again, a little bit of a headwind here. So these crews thinking about quick blades to the water at the front, at the catch. But it'll be Radcliffe first to walk into the last 500. They've taken back maybe 3 seats on Princeton. They seem to have taken some kind of a shift up. They'll be the first to walk into the last stretch. It is Radcliffe over Princeton. Princeton about 2 seats open behind them, and we'll hand it over for the last 500 to Dave.
The grand final for the lightweight Novice 4 between Princeton and Radcliffe. A barn burner all the way down, and it doesn't show any signs of letting up in the last 500 meters. Radcliffe currently at 30. Princeton trying to catch them, rowing a bit higher, perhaps 33 strokes a minute for Princeton. And when the red buoys appear, that means 250 meters to go. We are in that last part of the race course. It's still Radcliffe leading Princeton. Radcliffe in the black uniforms with the black and white blades against the Tigers of Princeton in the orange jerseys and the orange and black oars and the white boat in lane 1. Princeton still just 1 boat length back of Harvard, the Harvard Radcliffe entry. Radcliffe leading with just 50 meters to go. It looks like the gold medal, the medal that is to go to the lightweight for novice winner, will be going to Radcliffe. Be in the warm. I can't even be warm. I was thrown off I just don't want anything untoward to go out over the air. Oh, I'm untoward all the time. Although I do say politically incorrect things about people. Donald Trump probably doesn't like
Back up at the starting line, we're getting ready for the 1:30 race. Lightweight Varsity 4. Wisconsin in lane 1, Georgetown in lane 2. Crews are on the stake boats, and it is 1:30 p.m., so we expect to start momentarily. Flag is up, flag is down. We have a start. Again, Wisconsin in lane 1, Georgetown in lane 2. Crews are out from the shadows. And it looks like Georgetown may have taken the early lead here. Both crews still up over their racing pace off the start. Expect that they'll both come down here pretty quickly. Wisconsin has lengthened out. Georgetown has lengthened out, and at 250 meters, it looks like Georgetown might have a seat, but from our angle, I wouldn't take that to the bank. We'll have a clearer view of what the margins are here in about 15 strokes. And Wisconsin, now wasting no time, has moved right into some kind of power move, and they are starting to work their way through Georgetown here pretty quickly, and they've opened up a length plus here in the last 20 strokes. So coming into the Donahue Rowing Center, it is Wisconsin now with an open water lead over Georgetown in lane 2, and over to Katie Seville. Pardon me.
And we are picking up the grand final of the lightweight Varsity 4 on the far side in lane 1. We have Wisconsin, and in lane 2, Georgetown University. And Wisconsin clearly moving first into the second 500 here, followed by Georgetown behind them. They are commanding this race right now with about 2 to 3 lengths open water over Georgetown as they cross into the middle 1,000. The first to cross into the second 5, with Georgetown behind them by about 2 to 3 lengths open water. And this is the grand final again of the lightweight Varsity 4, with Wisco leading the pack here at about a 32.5 in lane 1, and in lane 2, Georgetown behind them at about a 32.33. Both of these crews now stepping into a headwind. We saw this in the last race. Pretty strong wind in the first 1,000, and then as the water is a little bit more sheltered, the wind dies down, and it's with Wisconsin, Wisco opening up their lead over Georgetown here. Both crews now mid-second 500. Grand final, lightweight Varsity 4, 1 to medal, and it looks like right now that'll be Wisconsin. Wisco at a solid 32. And Georgetown now about maybe 3.5 lengths open water behind Wisconsin. Georgetown a little bit higher at about a 34.5 strokes per minute. Both of these crews moving through the second 500, preparing to come down the back half of this race as they approach the 1,000. but it'll be Wisconsin to get there first. We hear the wind, we feel it a little bit here. Again, middle of the course, should die down just a touch as they come through into the last 700 or so. But right now, at about 1,000, these lightweights will be pushing back into some headwind. And Wisconsin now about 5-6 strokes from the 1,000-meter mark, getting ready to come down the back half of this race at about a 31 stroke rate, strokes per minute. Georgetown now approaching the 1,000-meter mark in just about 5 strokes. Wisconsin moving through the third 500, and Georgetown in about 2 strokes stepping into the third 500 right here. Both crews moving through the middle 1,000, thinking about the last 500, and for Wisconsin, it's looking like a medal in this grand final. Both crews now mid-third 500. Wisco sitting about a 31, 30 and a half. Georgetown a little bit higher, up around 33, 33 and a half. And Wisconsin clearly leading this race here over about 4 or 5 lengths open water. They'll be the first, it looks like, to cross into the last 500. And Wisco, of course, these rowers can see Georgetown, so they're looking to open up that lead as they move towards the last stretch. Again, 1 boat to medal, and it's looking like that's Wisco here right now. Wisconsin, about 20, 30 strokes from the 500 to go. And we already see wind dying down a little bit at just about the 600-meter mark. So again, that first 1,000, pretty strong headwind, a little bit more protected as they get closer to the line. Wisco approaching the 500 to go. They are decidedly first to move into the last 500. Georgetown at a little quicker of a cadence here, up around 34 strokes per minute. Wisconsin nice long 31, 32. And it's Wisco in just a few strokes to step into the last 500 of this race. As they move into the last 500, it's Georgetown behind them, and it's looking like Wisco will be taking home this medal in the lightweight Varsity 4 grand final. Georgetown just 5 from the last 500, and we'll hand it over here.
The Wisconsin Badgers controlling the race in the lightweight Varsity 4 grand final. With these smaller population events, there are fewer medals at stake. Here in a 2-boat race, 1 medal will be awarded to the winner only, and that would look to be Wisconsin. The Badgers in red and white with the red blades, with a substantial lead over the Georgetown Hoyas in lane 2. Wisconsin rowing at 33 strokes a minute, still pouring it on. They take these championship races seriously, no matter how many boats are in the event and no matter how large their margin. Never leave anything to chance. Always give a full measure when it comes to racing 2,000 meters. And it is the lightweight Varsity 4 from Wisconsin with 200 meters to go. Your presumptive winner, and Wisconsin with the red blades and the white boat now approaching the line, followed by Georgetown in the black boat over in lane 2. And the Badgers taking the gold. Send it over to the starting line for the lightweight third Varsity 8.
And we're back up at the start for the lightweight third Varsity 8 final. In lane 1, Boston University. In lane 2, Harvard-Radcliffe. And in lane 3, Wisconsin. This race scheduled for a 1:40 start, and it is 1:40, so I expect we'll see them go off pretty quickly here. We don't have quite the audio view into this that we had in the morning with a little bit of headwind now. We're relying more on the flag to see when the start is about to commence. Last couple of days we've been able to hear the starter's commands, but not now. Flag has just gone down, so we have a start. BU, Radcliffe, and Wisconsin in that order from the Worcester Shore, left to right on your screen. All three crews away cleanly. And it looks like we're through the breakage zone without incident. Coming up on 200 meters, three crews are very tightly bunched. Not sure anybody has a significant lead on the other crews. Looks pretty even at this point. Wisconsin and Radcliffe both at about 35. And it appears that BU might be just a touch lower. Your early leader by about 3 seats is Wisconsin out in lane 3. Radcliffe and Boston University. Radcliffe may have BU by a seat as they come into view here at the Donahue Rowing Center. And over to Colleen Seville.
Wisconsin, 2 medals, grand final, third Varsity 8 lightweight women, and it looks like it's decidedly Wisconsin coming through the first 500. They'll be the first to cross into the second 500, followed by Boston University on the far side. Radcliffe now answering Boston University, so it's Wisconsin, it's Radcliffe, and it's BU, but it is very close between BU and Radcliffe as these crews move into the middle 1,000, into the second 500. It is Wisconsin by a length and then a seat or 2 open over Radcliffe, who's overtaken Boston University by about 3 seats, 2 seats, 3 seats, including Coxon. Right now, though, the clear leaders are Wisco. They're closest to us in lane 3. Radcliffe and BU, it is a fight in the second 500, and it looks like BU's trying to answer Radcliffe here as these crews move through mid-second 500, moving towards the 1,000-meter mark. But again, it's Wisconsin, clear leaders here. Radcliffe and Boston University moving through the second 5, but it's Radcliffe by a 3-seat lead over BU. BU and Radcliffe are sitting on these margins. Radcliffe may be moving slightly, just took about a half a seat, maybe 1 seat. Yup, they're now 4 seats up on Boston University, fighting for second, fighting for that medal here. But Wisconsin out long, about a length and a half, open water over both of these 2 crews. Radcliffe has just taken 1 more seat. They're now a half a length up on Boston University. This is the women's 3rd Varsity 8 lightweight grand final, and only 2 of these crews will take home a medal. Right now, definitely looking like Wisco has the first place medal. 500-meter mark. And this is the women's grand final, 3v8, lightweights coming out a little bit of a stronger headwind. Again, the first 1,000 rougher water than the second 1,000. We see Radcliffe now up 1 length over BU officially. Coxon, their stern, sitting on BU's bow ball, but it looks like it'll be Wisco first to cross into the last 500 with just about 550 to go for that Wisconsin crew. Radcliffe now has broken just into open water over Boston University. Looks like Wisco and Radcliffe will be the two crews taking home a medal, but for BU, there's still time as they come into the last 500. Radcliffe has shifted up. This crew now getting ready to step into the last 500, but it's Wisconsin taking over, moving into the last 500, taking more water, followed by Radcliffe in second, who has an open water lead over BU. We'll see what these guys can do in the last 5.
The lightweight third varsity 8 grand final with gold and silver on the line. A much closer race among these 3 boats. Wisconsin on the lead. A length and a half ahead of Radcliffe in second and Boston University in third. The Wisco Badgers at 35 strokes a minute within 100 meters of victory to claim gold in the lightweight third varsity 8, followed by Radcliffe for silver. And back to the starting line for the lightweight second varsity 8.
And back up at the starting line, we're 2 minutes away from the lightweight second varsity 8 grand final. Looks like all of the crews are on the stake boats. Lane 1, Wisconsin. Lane 2, Boston University. Lane 3, Harvard Radcliffe. And Lane 4, Princeton. Some of these athletes will, from these boats, will break down into small boats at next month's IRA championships, rowing in lightweight fours and lightweight doubles. Again, the lane assignments: Wisconsin, lane 1, Boston University, lane 2, Harvard Radcliffe, lane 3, and Princeton, lane 4. And Boston University has detached from its stake boat, so we're going to have a slight delay here while they get reconnected. They're backing now. It shouldn't be too long. These coxswains are experienced and should have a good handle on what to do. It looks like she's reached back and is reattached to the stake boat. Now she's going to have to straighten out her course. And they're sculling it around. Looks like the woman in the bow seat has given her oar to the woman at 2, and the woman at 2 is sculling the boat around. They should be ready momentarily. And they are announcing the cruise. Flag is up and the flag is down. We have a start. So Wisconsin lane 1, Boston University lane 2, Radcliffe lane 3, and Princeton lane 4. All 4 crews off nice and cleanly. Out from the breakage zone. Everybody seems to be in the center of their lane. Equal spacing between the crews, which is always a good sign if you're the following referee. And right now it's pretty close across the board. BU and Radcliffe appear to have a slight advantage on Wisconsin and Princeton in the 2 outside lanes, but it's not a lot. All 4 crews look relatively stable here. Now Princeton has started to fall back a little bit. Radcliffe continues to try and work its way to the front and may have a 1 or 2 seat advantage on Wisconsin and BU, who are virtually even. And as the crews pass the Donahue Rowing Center, Radcliffe has worked its way out to almost a half a length, and we'll turn it over to Colleen Seville.
Radcliffe and 4 Princeton. These crews moving through their first 500. Very exciting race here. Looks like it's Wisconsin on the far side leading, Boston University in 3rd, and Radcliffe in 2nd, though they're charging now into 1st. Radcliffe has overtaken Wisconsin for 1st place. Right now it's a battle for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, with Princeton in a solid 4th. This is the 2nd lightweight, 2nd Varsity 8 grand final, 2 to medal, and it looks like right now Radcliffe has walked just about 1 length on Boston University. Radcliffe Coxon sitting on BU's 2 or bow seat, so a little less than a length, but it looks like BU is now overtaken Wisconsin on the far side. So it's Radcliffe and it's Boston University right now. Radcliffe in 1st, BU in 2nd, not by much, with a strong Wisconsin for 3rd, with Princeton in 4th, trying to push back into this race. But it's the Charles River rivals here leading this race. It's Radcliffe, it's Boston University by a seat, by a hair, over Wisconsin on the far side. Wisco is up to something. They are taking some kind of a move. Mid-second 500. These lightweights now are stepping into a pretty strong headwind here. We've seen this across the board in the second 500. Radcliffe's being given a run for their money, though, because here comes BU and Wisconsin. Very tight race here for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Little hard to tell, but it looks like it's Radcliffe over Wisconsin on the far side, with BU now in 3rd. Wisconsin maybe even overtaking Radcliffe, with Princeton now in 4th. It is Boston University in 3rd. It's Wisconsin in 1st, and it's Radcliffe in 2nd. Again, Wisconsin is leading the pack here. Radcliffe in 2nd, BU in 3rd. Very exciting race, though, because this is pretty tight as these 3 crews come into the 1,000 to go, with Princeton open water length behind the 3rd place crew here. It looks like, though, it will be Wisco first to step into the second half of this race, followed by Boston University in 2nd, barely, with Radcliffe in 3rd. It's definitely far side. Wisconsin taking command of this race, third 500, and it's BU taking over Radcliffe. Again, Boston University up 2 seats on Radcliffe as these crews move through the middle 1,000, through the third 500. There goes Wisco, and Boston University is after them right now in the middle of the third 500. Radcliffe has fallen back to BU. They're now a half a length behind BU, with a Princeton in solid fourth. They're sitting on their margin, open water behind Radcliffe. It is the two red crews here coming in for first and second. It is Wisconsin followed by BU, and BU is after Wisconsin here. They are not giving in. They're moving, and they're continuing to move as these crews approach the 700 to go or so, looking towards the 500 to go. It's Wisco, it's BU, it's Radcliffe decidedly in third. Radcliffe down 1 length behind Boston University. In the lightweight second Varsity 8, there goes Wisconsin, and BU is chasing them in the last 600. It's Wisco, it's BU, it's Radcliffe, and it's Princeton 1 length behind Radcliffe. BU now almost stern to bow on Radcliffe, which means they've taken over that full shell in the middle 1,000 to make a really strong comeback. And here they go, chasing Wisconsin as they move into about 550 to go. But it's Wisco, it's BU, it's Radcliffe, it's Princeton, and Wisco and BU are the clear leaders here. I think BU is going to give Wisco a run for their money in the last 500. Right now, though, it's Wisco first across into the last 500. Right here, it's BU down about a half a length behind Wisconsin, maybe even less. And now BU over Radcliffe by an open water lead. Princeton behind Radcliffe, and we'll hand it over for the last 5.
The lightweight second Varsity 8. Wisconsin on the lead in lane 1. Boston University in second. We have Radcliffe in third and Princeton trailing, and this is lanes 1 to 4 in that order. The Wisconsin Badgers, red and white jerseys in the red oars, leading by 3/4 of a length over Boston University in the white uniforms and the red boat. Those two have open water on Radcliffe, who in turn is open water ahead of Princeton. Approaching the finish line 200 meters out, Wisconsin leads by a boat length over Boston University. Across the line at 35 strokes a minute, Wisconsin will be taking the gold in the lightweight second Varsity 8 grand final.
And back up at the starting line, we now have the crews for the lightweight Varsity 8 grand final. The crews have switched lanes due to the perceived quartering headwind off the Shrewsbury shore. So Georgetown is in lane 1, Princeton in lane 2, Harvard Radcliffe in lane 3, Wisconsin in lane 4, Boston University in lane 5. So from left to right, it's Georgetown, Princeton, Radcliffe, Wisconsin, and Boston University on the Shrewsbury shore. And we have a start. So as the crews clear the breakage zone, your early leader appears to be Boston University out here in lane 5 on the Worcester shore, or Shrewsbury shore, excuse me. Wisconsin, close in lane 4. Harvard Radcliffe in lane 3, even with Wisconsin. Princeton, about 2 seats down from Radcliffe. And Georgetown about 2 seats down from Princeton. So it's Boston University by the slightest of margins over Wisconsin and Radcliffe as the crews come into the Donahue Rowing Center dock area. Wisconsin trailing by 3 seats from BU, ahead of Radcliffe by 3 seats. Radcliffe a full length over Princeton, and Princeton a full length over Georgetown. And over to the reporting boat.
In the center, leading this race, very tight between Wisco and Boston University. These 3 crews. Here comes BU, though. BU leading this race for the lightweight Varsity 8 grand final. Here comes Boston moving through Wisconsin. They've moved through Radcliffe. They're the first to step into the second 500, and it's Boston University, followed by Wisconsin, followed by Radcliffe in third with Princeton decidedly in 4th, and Georgetown in a solid 5th. BU flying through the second 500, though. They're up over a length over Wisconsin. We saw some really nice work in the second Varsity 8 and the lightweights. We'll see what they get up to in this race. But right now, it is decidedly Boston University leading the lightweight Varsity 8 over Wisconsin, over Radcliffe, and it looks like Wisconsin is over Radcliffe as well for a second place position, up by about 2 seats over Radcliffe. BU now up 1 length over Wisconsin, so it is BU 1 length over Wisco. It is Wisco about 2 seats over Radcliffe, with the rest of the pack, Princeton and Georgetown, open length water, with at least 1 to 2 open length water behind these top 3 leaders. But it's the top 3 for medals. Right now it looks like it's Boston University. Again, they are pressing right into this headwind to maintain their first position. It's Wisconsin right next to them, who has about 2 seats over Radcliffe as these crews approach the 1,000-meter mark and move through the first half of this race. It looks like BU is going to win this sprint, though, today by open water if they keep at it. Right now they've got an open water lead over Radcliffe, over Wisconsin. They will be the first to step into the second 1,000 of this race, but Radcliffe now has taken water back from Wisconsin. Radcliffe and Wisconsin almost even. It's Radcliffe over Wisco by 1 seat, but BU is not stopping for anyone as they move into the third 500. They are decidedly the leaders commanding this race as they move into the second 1,000. Radcliffe has fought back, though, just before the 1,000, about 1,200 to go. They definitely were up to something, and they're not stopping because Wisco now is about 3 to 4 seats behind Radcliffe. Wisconsin rowing at about a 34 into this headwind. Looks like Radcliffe slightly above them, maybe by about a half a beat. They look to be at a 34, maybe 34 and a half. Again, Boston University, though, they're not stopping for anyone. They're not looking back, and they can see the competition behind them as they continue to open up and take more and more water. Folks, it's BU over Radcliffe with Wisconsin in third, Princeton and Georgetown trailing as the 2 crews behind them, at least a couple of lengths open water behind these 3 leaders. But it's BU moving nicely through the third 500 with just about 750 to go. Boston University with at least 1 length open water between them and second place, Radcliffe, who's about a half a length over Wisconsin. Women's lightweight grand final. BU is taking a medal. Looks like Radcliffe and Wisconsin will be taking medals. Again, the top three here to medal, but it's BU very much in first place with just about 10-12 strokes from the 500 to go. Open water behind them. We see Radcliffe in second. They're now at least a half a length, maybe 3/4 of a length up over Wisco. Boston University stepping into the last 500 in less than 5 strokes. Radcliffe will be next, followed by Wisconsin. We'll see what Wisco can do in the sprint. All crews stepping into the last 5, and we'll hand it over now.
We have quite a race going on in the lightweight Varsity 8 grand final. There will be a gold, silver, and bronze medal awarded, and right now the contention for the gold is between Harvard in lane 3 and Boston University in lane 6. I mean, that's lane 4 for Harvard. Wisconsin appears to have a stranglehold on bronze, and BU is certainly making a statement about wanting gold. Radcliffe giving them all they want in terms of competition, as Boston University holding a quarter boat length of open water over Radcliffe. Radcliffe in turn another quarter length of open ahead of Wisconsin Badgers. Coming to the finish, the favored crew from Boston University, the women's varsity lightweight 8 from Boston University. In the final 50 meters of the race, racing home to claim gold over the silver medalists Radcliffe, and bronze will go to the Badgers of Wisconsin.
And back up at the starting line. Varsity 4C Grand Final, your 2:15 race number 19. On the Shrewsbury shore, Dartmouth in the middle, Northeastern, and on the Boston shore, Worcester shore, Boston College. So the lanes are still reversed. Dartmouth, the far right of your screen, if you're watching this on the big screen or on the internet. Northeastern in the middle, Boston College over on the Worcester shore on the right-hand side of your screen. Flag should be up momentarily. Flag is up. Flag is down. We have a start. All three crews off cleanly. Coming out of the shadows now. Dartmouth with a nice start over here on the Shrewsbury Donahue Rowing Center side of the course. They've gotten away extremely cleanly. Northeastern as well gotten away cleanly. And over on the far side, Boston College has a good start as well. In the early going, it appears that Boston College and Northeastern have a slight edge on Dartmouth as we get about 300 meters into it. Dartmouth settled down into its race rhythm. Northeastern settled down as well. Boston College a little bit higher than the other two crews, and so far it's paying off as they enjoy about a one-seat lead on Northeastern, with Dartmouth about almost a length down on the two crews. And we'll send it over to Colleen in the reporting boat.
And we are picking up the women's Varsity 4C. It is Northeastern in the middle lane. On the far side, and closest to us, we see Dartmouth, and on the far side, Boston College. Northeastern seems to be leading by just about a half a four's length, with Dartmouth in third. It is Northeastern, Boston College, and Dartmouth. As these crews move into the second 500-meter stretch, it's Northeastern by about 3/4 of a length, almost a length over Boston College. Again, women's Varsity 4C, all three crews moving into the middle 1,000 and into, I'd say, the toughest part of this headwind here. But it's Northeastern over Boston College by just about a seat or two, maybe a half a length, with Dartmouth decidedly in third. Open water behind both of these shells. Boston College making a push back onto Northeastern, mid-second 500, and now I'd say it's Boston College, maybe slight advantage over Northeastern as we sit in the middle 1,000 of this race, mid-second 500, women's Varsity 4C Grand Final. And it's Boston College, slight advantage over Northeastern now as crews come in mid-second 5 with just about 12:50 or so to go. It's Boston College over Northeastern by a half a length. with Northeastern in second, and about 1/4's length open water between Northeastern and Dartmouth. So the two crews leading this race, Boston College and Northeastern University, BC making a push mid-second 500 to edge out Northeastern as both of these crews approach the 1,000 in just about 30 strokes. Be Boston College, it looks like, first across into the 1,000, though there's still time. Northeastern maintaining overlapped contact with Boston University, so a little more than 3/4 of a length, just about bow to stern between these two shells, maybe slightly less than that, but BC now decidedly in the lead here as we look towards the second half of this race. The crews will feel a pretty strong headwind here pick up right around the 1,000, and again we've seen that calm down, maybe about 600 to go. So looking for strong legs as the crews push into the second 1,000. Northeastern at about a 31.5. Boston College up 1 length on Northeastern. Dartmouth hanging back about 1 to 2 lengths open water behind the second place crew. Boston College now definitely solid lead over Northeastern of about a length and maybe a seat or so open water. All three crews into the second 1,000. It's Boston College over Northeastern by about a length. Crews now well into the third 500, looking towards the last stretch of this race. And it's BC who walked through these shells in the second 5, continuing to take some water in the third 5. With a little kick of a headwind here as we approach the last stretch of this race. It's BC over Northeastern by about 2 seats open water now, with the Huskies just behind them, and about 2 forest lengths open water behind the Huskies. We see Dartmouth. So it's Boston College, Northeastern University, followed by Dartmouth as all three crews approach the final 500. Right now, about 700 to go. This is the women's Varsity 4C, maintaining their lead. Leading the pack is Boston College. Opening up more water over Northeastern. We've seen them take about a half a length open in this third 500-meter stretch over Northeastern. Now about a length open water or so. Looks like BC is up to something as they approach the 500. Boston College about 10 strokes from the 5 to go. And BC with just about 3-4 strokes from the last 500. They'll be the first to cross that line, followed by the Huskies about 1.5 length open water behind Boston College, with Dartmouth about 2 to 3 lengths open water behind the Huskies for third. It is BC. It's Northeastern now in the last 5. Dartmouth about 7 strokes from the last 500, and we'll hand it over to Dave for the last 5.
The Scarlet Knights in the red. I'm sorry, that's not that. I'm one race ahead. This is the Varsity 4C Grand Final. Medals to be awarded: Boston College on the lead in lane 4, with Northeastern in second place in lane 5, and Dartmouth trailing in lane 6. Some substantial open water separating each of the three crews in this Varsity C4 final. Boston College rowing at 37 strokes a minute in the final 200 meters of the course, leading Northeastern by 3 lengths. Northeastern at 35 strokes a minute in turn, lead Dartmouth by 4.5 lengths. And at the finish line, the gold medal to Boston College, with Northeastern approaching for silver and Dartmouth another 100 meters back for third.
And we have a start in the Varsity 4B petite final. Rutgers on the Worcester Shore in lane 4, Boston University in lane 5, and West Virginia in lane 6 over on the Shrewsbury Shore. And West Virginia seems to be off to a very fast start. And right off the bat here, as the crews clear the breakage zone and get out about 200 meters, we have a Jack Fraley mini echelon with West Virginia, Boston University, and Rutgers in descending order from the Shrewsbury side of the course back towards Worcester. So your early leader is West Virginia by about 3 seats on Boston University. Boston University by approximately 1/2 length on Rutgers in this petite final of the Varsity 4B event. Colleen Seville will get ready to pick this race up in the ship-to-shore launch in about 10 strokes. But again, as we reach the Donahue Rowing Center dock, it is West Virginia by a 1/2 length now over Boston University. Boston University by 3 seats over Rutgers. And we'll turn it over to Colleen in the reporting launch.
Women's petite final, Varsity 4B. Closest to us, we have West Virginia, Boston University in the middle, with Rutgers on the far side. Pretty tight between these 3 crews. Again, this is the petite final, Varsity 4B. Just a few strokes from stepping into the middle 1,000 of this race. And West Virginia is leading this petite final. Boston University pretty close behind them with a Rutgers in 3rd. Boston University and Rutgers very, very tight here. Decidedly West Virginia, though, leaders as they move into the second 500 and the middle 1,000 of this race. West Virginia up about 1/4 length open water on Boston University. They're sitting in 2nd. BU up by about a 1/2 length over Rutgers into the middle 1,000. Again, it is West Virginia who is leading this petite final right now for the women's B4. West Virginia up around a 33. Right about now is where we feel that headwind start to pick up, and it's going to take us through, I'd say, to about 600-700 meters to go. West Virginia, again, pressing through middle of the second 500-meter stretch, but we see that now Rutgers has actually taken over Boston University for 2nd place. It's Rutgers who's walked through BU in the women's B4 petite final. Right now, Rutgers over BU by about a 1/2 length. Looks like they're not going to stop moving, though. We see Bow Ball of Boston University now sitting on Rutgers' 4 seat. Just about 1 length between these 2 crews for 2nd and 3rd. And so it's West Virginia in 1st, it's Rutgers in 2nd, it's BU in 3rd. Middle of the second 500, looks like it'll be West Virginia first to cross the 1,000, first to move us into the second half of this race. And we see Rutgers now has taken an open water lead over Boston University for 2nd place in this petite final, women's Varsity 4B. It's West Virginia really leading the pack here by at least a couple of lengths open water now over Rutgers. Rutgers in 2nd has taken an open water lead over Boston University. We see a little gust of wind that West Virginia is about to walk into as these crews come in to the second half of this race down the back half. And in just about 2 strokes for West Virginia now coming through the 1,000, followed by Rutgers, who is now an open water advantage over 3rd place Boston University. Rutgers is through the 1,000. BU moving through the 1,000 right here as all 5 to go. These crews have thinned out their margins, opened up their margins rather, with West Virginia, again, maintaining their lead, the lead we saw them take from the start. And it's West Virginia now walking through the 500 with just 5 to go. About 10 strokes behind them will be Rutgers. Rutgers now walking into the last 5, followed by BU in just about 6 strokes. They'll walk into the last 500. This is the petite final, Varsity 4B, and we'll hand it over now.
To start.
West Virginia appears to be leading Rutgers, with Boston University trailing. Seventh, eighth, and ninth place on the line in the Varsity 4B. This is the petite final. West Virginia in the gold tops, racing at 33 strokes a minute with an open water lead over Rutgers, and Rutgers has left Boston University farther astern. Rutgers rowing at 35 strokes a minute. But it is West Virginia in the black boat over on the far side of the course, claiming 7th place in the Varsity B4. This was the petite final, with the grand final up next at 2:40. We'll send it over to Gary Caldwell at the starting line.
And we're back up at the starting line for the grand final of the Varsity 4B, scheduled to go off at 2:40. The numbers remain the same. The bow numbers are the same, but the crews are reversed in order. So from the Worcester side of the course, Dartmouth, Boston College, Northeastern, Bucknell, Columbia, and over on the Shrewsbury side, on the upper part of your screen, Harvard Radcliffe in lane 6. So from lane 6 back to lane 1, Harvard Radcliffe, Columbia, Bucknell, Northeastern, Boston College, and Dartmouth. The announcing of the crews has begun. And we have a start. The breeze has picked up a little bit. Unlike yesterday when there were no ripples on the water, this afternoon there are ripples everywhere, but it's still pretty decent conditions. Radcliffe off to a good start over on our side in lane 6. Columbia has gone out with Radcliffe. Bucknell as well. And then a little bit of a fallback to Northeastern. And Radcliffe out here in lane 6 has the early lead. Boston College over in lane 2, acquitting itself nicely as well, and maybe only a couple of seats down on Radcliffe. But Radcliffe here controlling the early going as we come up towards the Donahue Rowing Center. It's Radcliffe by a half a length on Columbia. Columbia basically even with Bucknell. Bucknell a length up on Northeastern, as is Boston College on Northeastern, and Dartmouth sort of pegged halfway in between those two crews. As they come up through Donahue Rowing Center now, it is Radcliffe clearing out to a full-length lead now over Columbia. And over to Colleen Seville in the reporting boat.
Bucknell, Northeastern, BC, and Dartmouth on the far side. Very exciting 6-boat race, grand final, Varsity 4B, and it looks like Boston College actually fighting with Radcliffe. Boston College, Radcliffe decidedly leading this race, actually second Columbia, and we see Bucknell and Boston College in third, so it is Radcliffe, it is Columbia, Bucknell making a run for BC here to take over third. Very tight, exciting race here from all crews across the board, but it's Radcliffe, Columbia, now Bucknell over BC, Dartmouth, followed by the Huskies in 6th, Northeastern University in 6th. All of these crews are stepping into a pretty nasty headwind up here. Middle 1,000 of this race. Again, we saw some wind, some hail in the last race. It's Radcliffe, second Columbia. It's Bucknell over BC. Then it's Dartmouth and Northeastern. Though the Huskies right now in 6th are trying to press back into 5th place Dartmouth. We'll see what they can get up to back here. But if we look towards the front of the pack, it is Radcliffe. They got out fast. They're leading this race. Middle of the second 500 with Columbia in second and Bucknell, Boston College vying for third, vying for that third place medal in the Varsity Women's B Grand Final. It's Radcliffe, it's Columbia. Will it be Bucknell or Boston College? We'll see. There's still a lot of time in this race. Huskies now in the back of the pack. They're walking back into Dartmouth, so they're in 6th place, but they're pushing back into 5th place. Definitely up to some kind of a move here in the middle of the second 500-meter stretch. It looks like it's Bucknell over Boston College for third place right now. Again, we've seen these two crews vying over the last 500 meters for the third position place. Radcliffe decidedly in first by at least a couple lengths over Columbia, who's sitting solid in second place. Columbia has a couple lengths on third place. Bucknell, which is where things get interesting, because it's Bucknell and Boston College fighting for a medal, fighting for third place position. Right now, though, it's Bucknell over Boston College by a half a length. Crews moving into the worst part of this wind. It's now kind of a head crosswind, definitely a headwind, though this time without any hail. It is Radcliffe in first. They are cruising. They are in the third 500. Columbia now walking into the third 500. Bucknell just over Boston College. Very tight race for third. It's going to get interesting in the second 1,000 for these two crews, but right now it's Bucknell over Boston College by about 2 seats. Dartmouth still holding off the Huskies in the back of the pack. Dartmouth, if we look over, they're at least 1 length or so over the Northeastern Shell, who's in 6th place. And again, if we look back to the fight for third position right now, fight for third place, it's Bucknell over BC, and they are sitting on this margin right now. Boston College unable to break Bucknell right now in the middle 1,000, in the middle of the third 500, but we'll see what they can get up to as we approach the 5 to go. 7:50 to go right now. There is still time in this race for things to get interesting. If we look towards the front, Radcliffe, they are solid, leading this race as they have been from the start. Pushing into a little bit of a headwind at 33 strokes per minute in the Radcliffe shell. Couple lengths behind them is the Columbia shell at about a 32, 33. And right now it is Bucknell over BC. They are not letting BC take them. Very interesting fight for third place in this race. It is Radcliffe, it is Columbia, but it is a fight for third. Will it be Bucknell or BC? We'll see, because these crews have about 600 meters to figure it out. Right now, though, it's Bucknell over Boston College. As we approach the 500 meter to go, it's Bucknell 2 seats over BC. Bucknell now fighting for that medal. Boston Radcliffe in about 5 strokes to step into the last 500. And then it's Columbia, about 1 to 2 lengths open water, 2 lengths open water behind them. It is still Bucknell over BC for the 3rd place position. In fact, Bucknell has taken a seat from Boston College. Let's see how BC does in the sprint. Right now, Bucknell, Boston College getting ready to step into the last 500, and we'll see which of these crews can take 3rd. And we'll hand it over for the last 500.
The leader in the Varsity B Grand Final is Radcliffe over in lane 6. They certainly have a considerable lead over Columbia, followed by third place is a little bit hard to tell from the vantage here in the Crow's Nest. But it's Northeastern fighting with Boston College for that 3rd place bronze medal. Clearly, Radcliffe will take the gold and win the Varsity 4B. Columbia in a commanding position to hold on for silver. And Bucknell for 3rd, following behind in lane 4. So Bucknell edging out Boston College for the bronze medal, with Dartmouth and Northeastern trailing.
And we're back up at the starting line for the petite final, 2:55 race number 22, petite final of the third Varsity 8. And the crews from right to left, Rutgers over on the Worcester Shore, Novice 8, Buffalo 4v8 next to them, Boston University, Buffalo 3v8, Bucknell 4v, and over on the Shrewsbury Shore on the Donahue Rowing Center side, the Drexel third Varsity. So this is a third Varsity 8 with a combination of third Varsity, fourth Varsity, and Novice 8 crews. So again, from the Worcester Shore out, Rutgers, Buffalo, Boston University, Buffalo again, Bucknell, and Drexel. Crews are all on the stake boats. We have not heard the starter announcing the crews yet. She's just started now. Flag is up. Flag is down. We have a start. All 6 crews have left the starting platform. And this petite final of the third Varsity 8 is underway. And your early leader is Drexel out here in lane 6. Got away to a very, very clean start. And it is Drexel with the Bucknell 4V in close pursuit, as well as Boston University, and then back a little bit to the other 3 crews. So your 3 leaders right now, Drexel, Bucknell, and BU here is challenging Drexel for first place. BU looks into it. Drexel Coxon looks over 3 lanes and sees BU and has called something to respond to the BU surge towards the front. And Drexel is now taking a nice push here in front of the Donahue Rowing Center, and they have approximately 3/4 of a length on Bucknell and BU as we turn it over to Colleen Seville in the ship-to-shore launch.
4V, and on the far side, Rutgers Novice 8. Right now, Boston University looks to be in second and closest to us. Drexel leading this race. This is the petite final. It is Drexel, it's BU, followed by Bucknell. Pretty close, though, here for second, third, and even fourth. Pretty tight race across the board with the exception of Drexel. They were out of the gate, out of the first 500, very strong. Now into the second 500. It is Drexel, followed by Bucknell, followed by Boston University in third, and Buffalo 3V in fourth. On the far side, we see Rutgers Novice 8 in fifth, followed by the fourth Buffalo 8 in sixth. It's Drexel by an open water lead over the field, then second, third, and fourth. Fairly tight here, with Bucknell in second, Boston University in third, and Buffalo's 3V decidedly now in fourth as these crews move through the second 500. Drexel not looking back. They're moving and they're continuing to gain speed. Again, this is the third Varsity 8 petite final, and in this petite final is Drexel taking the lead, followed by Bucknell in second. Not far behind them is Boston University in third, with Buffalo's 3V in fourth, Rutgers Novice 8 in fifth on the far side, followed by Buffalo's 4V. But it's Drexel here taking their lead, continuing to take water in this petite final, followed by Bucknell. We are sitting on these margins that we've seen for the past 100 meters or so. Not too much movement between the crews here, with the exception of Buffalo's 3V maybe starting to fall back from BU and Bucknell just a little bit, which means Bucknell and BU are maintaining maintaining their speed, they'll be the first to cross into the second 1,000. And it's Drexel, Bucknell, BU. Bucknell and BU really sitting here on these margins for second and third. It is Bucknell with about a 2-seat advantage over Boston University, and Buffalo again losing a little bit of speed here as they fall back away from that third place vying position. It's Bucknell now in the middle of some kind of a move because they look to have taken maybe a half a seat or so back from Boston University, maybe a seat. They're moving in now into the back half of this race, into the second 1,000. It's Drexel leading the pack and not looking back. Then it's Bucknell and it's Boston University. Bucknell's taken about 1 seat over the past 500 meters, 400 meters. So again, BU and Bucknell really sitting on these margins. We'll see how they pan out with about 800 to go right now. Which one of these crews will pick up speed and take the second place position? Drexel still at least 2/8 length open water on the rest of the field. It's Bucknell in second, hanging on to that second place position, but not by much. BU could come back. We see BU's stroke seat looking over at Bucknell, ready to make a move onto that shell, but Bucknell is holding them off, defending that second place position. It's Bucknell in second, it's Boston University in third, and again, it's Buffalo decidedly in fourth. They're moving back a little bit from the pack here, from the second, third place spots in that solid fourth place position. Here comes BU though. It looks like BU is finally going to break this margin. They've taken back at least 1 seat. Kind of tough to tell. It looks like it's still Bucknell by about 1 seat or so. BU's stroke seat looking over at Bucknell, definitely trying to lead her crew into the second place position of this petite final of the women's third Varsity 8. But there's no doubt it is Drexel who is going to move in to the last 500 first and onward toward the finish line. It is now Boston University over Bucknell. Again, BU has finally broken that margin that we saw them sitting. We saw both of these crews sitting on for a good 400 or 500 meters. BU is moving, starting to walk away from Bucknell. We see BU's coxswain sitting between 7 and 6 seat of Bucknell. We see Drexel well into the last 5. It's BU in second. Bucknell's not giving in. They just shifted up as these crews step into the last 500, racing for second place, and we'll hand it over now.
Third Varsity 8 petite final. Drexel third Varsity is leading the pack. Boston University occupying second place. Bucknell in third. Drexel is rowing at 36 strokes a minute and running away from this field. Boston University holding on to second over a fast charging Bucknell 4V. It's going to be a good race for second place in this petite final of the third Varsity 8s. With 100 meters to go, Drexel is going to take the victory. Boston University holding on to the slimmest of leads and being caught by Bucknell. As we approach the finish line, it'll be too close to call from this vantage. The two Buffalo boats will be next across the line with Rutgers trailing.
And the sky is brightening as we come back up to the Donahue Rowing Center with our view of the starting line. And on the starting blocks are the crews for the third Varsity 8 Grand Final, race number 23, 3:05 p.m. From the lane 1 side over to lane 6, Worcester to Shrewsbury, we have Rutgers in lane 1, Boston College in lane 2, Harvard Radcliffe 4th Varsity, which made this final, in lane 3, Boston College in lane 4, Bucknell in lane 5, and Harvard Radcliffe 3V in lane number 6. So from left to right, Rutgers, Boston College, Radcliffe 4, Boston College, Bucknell 3, Harvard Radcliffe 3. And the starting commands have begun. Flag is up. And the flag is down. We have a start. All the crews have come out from underneath the Route 290 bridge and appear to be in their correct lanes. Everybody seems to be centered reasonably well. And Radcliffe over here in lane 6 has had a very smart start, as has Boston College 2 lanes over, and Bucknell in between them also moving out smartly. Those 3 crews seem to be ahead of the pack a little bit, with the second Boston College boat as well. So Radcliffe here trying to put the early move on in the first 500, create some distance. Bucknell and Boston College not letting them go easily by any means. But Radcliffe leads here, coming by the Donahue Rowing Center by almost a half a length on Bucknell. Bucknell by a little more than a deck on Boston College. Radcliffe 4 trailing the field by about a length. And Rutgers and Dartmouth hanging in there. And over to the reporting boat.
Boston College and then Rutgers on the far side. An exciting 6-boat race here. Third Varsity 8 Grand Final. And it's the Harvard Radcliffe 3V closest to us that's moving into first position. Bucknell solid second, followed by Boston College. Rutgers on the far side. Dartmouth. And the Harvard Radcliffe 4V. But it's the 3V taking first position here, first place, 1 length over Bucknell, who's 1 length over Boston College. All crews now in the middle of the second 5. It's Radcliffe leading, it's Bucknell in second, it's Boston College in third, and these top 3 right now about 1 length between each of them. All 3 of these crews bow to stern right now. An exciting race, though, for 4th, 5th, and 6th. If we look back, we see Rutgers in 4th. Not far behind them, Dartmouth, with the Radcliffe 4V solid in 6th position. Right now, Rutgers, though, hanging on to that 4th place. Dartmouth making a run for it, trying to take that 4th place position from them, but Rutgers hanging on to their lead of just about 2 seats over Dartmouth for 4th, Dartmouth in 5th, and the Harvard boat in Harvard 4V in 6th. And we see the Radcliffe shell again still leading this race in the middle of the second 500-meter stretch. It's pretty much the same margins that we saw from the top 3 leading crews when we last checked. Each of them about 1 length or 4 seconds off of each other. Maybe Radcliffe in the 3V, a little more than that, maybe about 5 seconds between them and Bucknell, who sits in second place. Bucknell 1 length, maybe 5 seconds over Boston College, sitting in third. Looks like right now it's these 3 crews vying for a medal. But we should not discount Rutgers on the far side, because here they come, pressing their bow ball into Boston College. We see BC Coxon looking back at Rutgers, but right now BC a solid 4 to 4.5 second lead over Rutgers, just over bow to stern. All of these crews pretty much sitting on these margins. It's Radcliffe leading the pack at 34.5 in their 3V, followed by Bucknell, now about 6 seconds behind, maybe a length and a couple seats. And behind them, Boston College, almost identical margin here. Again, these three leading crews staying pretty true to the margins that we saw just about 500 meters ago. Rutgers still chasing after Boston College for third place, but there is an open water advantage BC over Rutgers right now. So it's Radcliffe in first, it's Bucknell in second, BC in third, Rutgers in fourth, Bucknell in second, BC in third, Rutgers in fourth, Dartmouth in fifth, followed by the Radcliffe 4V in sixth. And we see Bucknell making a run for Radcliffe here as we move into the last 600. Radcliffe still maintaining their open water lead, but Bucknell definitely taking some kind of a power move here to bring their bow a little bit closer to Radcliffe as they come into the last 500. Bucknell up at about a 35. These crews, a little bit of a headwind here. Radcliffe will be the first, it looks, to move into the last 500, followed by Bucknell at about a 34. Boston College, again, maintaining third place position, open water behind Bucknell. It's Radcliffe 3V. It's Bucknell. It's Boston College in third, Rutgers in fourth, Dartmouth in fifth, and it's the Radcliffe 4V now chasing Dartmouth for fifth. We'll see what they can do in the last 500 meters of this race.
Just took over here.
Third Varsity 8 Grand Final. Radcliffe on the lead with Bucknell in second, giving chase. Third place currently occupied by Buffalo, feeling some pressure from the rest of the pack. Radcliffe has held the lead from start to finish. And at 37 strokes a minute, they hope to be able to hold off any charge coming from Bucknell, one lane over from them. Radcliffe with a bit more than a boat length lead. Now going into a sprint and adding to their lead over Bucknell. Bucknell open water clear of third place. This is the grand final in the third Varsity 8. Gold medal position, Radcliffe, Bucknell in for silver. And it looks like Boston College in for the bronze, with Rutgers and Radcliffe in fourth and fifth. And another Boston College entry in sixth place, but across the line, confirming their victory, Radcliffe with the gold. Bucknell for silver. Boston College takes home the bronze.
And we're about 5 minutes out from the next race. Varsity 4A petite final at 3:20. The crews are getting assembled on the starting platforms. This is a 7-boat race. So we have 7 crews starting over in lane 0, the euphemistic lane 0 on the Worcester Shore, Buffalo, West Virginia in lane 1, MIT lane 2, Georgetown lane 3, Rutgers lane 4, Columbia lane 5, and Boston University lane 6. So again, from lane 0, Buffalo lane 0, West Virginia lane 1, MIT lane 2, Georgetown lane 3, Rutgers lane 4, Columbia lane 5, and Boston University lane 6. This is the Varsity 4A Petite Final, one of the 3 NCAA Division I events. For many of these schools in the next 2 weeks in their conference championships, this is one of the 3 events that point towards the team totals. Three minutes to start. And the notification of crews has begun. We're ready for the start. And we have a start. Out towards the end of the breakage zone, these coxswains have all done a nice job. 7 crews, all in their appropriate lanes, and they looked pretty evenly spaced across the course. And the early leaders appear to be Boston University and Georgetown. as well as West Virginia over there in lane 2. We'll see how it sorts itself out in the next 200 meters. But BU certainly off to a nice clean start, taking Columbia with them. Over on the far side, West Virginia, as they did in the heat, looking pretty smart here in the early going. We'll see if they can maintain their poise and maintain their drive for this full 2,000 meters. So it looks at the outset like BU, Columbia, and West Virginia are having the best of it in the early going. Not too far behind that group is Georgetown, with Rutgers, MIT, and Buffalo all about even. Now, Columbia has actually worked out to a little bit of a lead over BU, and we will turn it over to Colleen in the reporting launch.
And we are picking up the Varsity 4A petite final here. This is a 7-boat race. Closest to us is Boston University, then Columbia, Rutgers, Georgetown, MIT, West Virginia, and on the very far side, Buffalo. Columbia leading this petite final now with BU right behind them. These two, the clear leaders of this race, and it's still very, very tight between the rest of the field as they step into the second 500. It's Columbia, it's BU, followed by Rutgers. Very tight race here. Georgetown just behind Rutgers, though, with West Virginia vying for those shells as well. So we have two leaders out straight ahead, definitely a few lengths open over the rest of the pack. And those leaders are Columbia in first, then Boston University in second, and then a few lengths behind them, we have 3 boats again vying for that third place position. Right now it's Rutgers, then it's Georgetown, and then it's West Virginia racing for third place in this petite final. So it's Columbia, it's BU, it's Rutgers, Georgetown, West Virginia, MIT behind them, and on the far side we see Buffalo. Very tight race for third here. Pretty exciting stuff happening in the middle of the pack. Right now, Rutgers maintaining their third place position in the petite final over Georgetown, but I suspect these crews are going to race all the way to the line. Right now, all of the shells stepping into a pretty solid headwind here as we approach the 1,000 in just about 200 or so meters. Columbia maintaining their lead over Boston University by less than a length. BU maintaining contact on their stern deck, and then a couple lengths of open water behind BU. In third place is Rutgers. They're not letting go of that third place spot over Georgetown, who's then over West Virginia. Let's see what Georgetown can get up to as we approach the 1,000 in the middle of this race, but it's again Rutgers in third, Georgetown in fourth, West Virginia in fifth, MIT in sixth, with Buffalo on the far side in seventh. Columbia the first to step into the third 500, followed by Boston University. It looks like Columbia's taken a little bit over BU in that first place position in this petite. 1 length over Boston University, but there definitely is still some overlap between these two crews for first and second. It's Columbia first, it's Boston University in second, and then again 2, maybe even 3, 4 lengths behind them, probably more like 2. We see Rutgers in third. Rutgers now telling Georgetown that they're going to take the third place position. They've definitely taken some water over Georgetown, and they're now about a half a length over Georgetown, 3/4 of a length even right now in that third place position in the petite final. Women's Varsity 4A. It is Columbia, it is Boston University, and it's Rutgers in third, Rutgers and Georgetown fighting for that third place position. These crews all pretty close, and we haven't seen them break too much margin here over the past 500-600 meters. It's Rutgers in third, it's Georgetown in fourth, and West Virginia in fifth. Rutgers over Georgetown by a half a length. Georgetown now pushing back into Rutgers as we approach the last 600 meters or so. It's Rutgers, though, still keeping up a length over Georgetown. We see Rutgers 4 seat sitting on Georgetown's 2 seat right now, hanging on to that position, sitting on that margin, though Georgetown's trying to push back into them for 3rd. Looks like they're coming back a little bit, though Rutgers 4 seat, though, we see on Georgetown's bow seat, so it looks like Rutgers coming back. A little bit of hail here coming in as we get ready for this last 500-meter stretch. It is Rutgers over Georgetown. It's the Rutgers 4 seat now sitting on Georgetown's bow seat, which means they've taken about a half a seat, maybe a seat back. Pretty close fight here for 3rd, though. West Virginia now out of the mix, and it's Columbia in 1st. It's Boston University in 2nd. It's Rutgers in 3rd, followed by Georgetown, and not far behind them, West Virginia, Boston College, and Buffalo on the far side into the last 500.
Columbia leading in the Varsity 4A petite final. Columbia has a very clear lead over a pack of boats that includes Boston University, Rutgers, Georgetown, and West Virginia, with MIT and Buffalo trailing. The race for 7th place, the winning crew of the petite final will claim 7th overall. That looks like it's going to be by quite some margin. The 4 from Columbia in the light blue, the blue and white of Columbia, followed by Boston University, Rutgers, Georgetown, West Virginia. Boston University rowing at 34 strokes a minute as Columbia now crosses the line. 5 lengths clear of Boston University. Boston University an open water advantage over Rutgers. Then come Georgetown just 2 seats back of Rutgers. Another open water bit back to West Virginia, MIT, and Buffalo trail.
And we're anticipating very shortly the start of the grand final of the Varsity 4A, a 3:30 p.m. race number 25 on the schedule. From the lane 1 side of the course, we have Drexel in lane 1, Dartmouth in lane 2, Boston College in lane 3, Northeastern lane 4, Bucknell lane 5, and Harvard Radcliffe on the Shrewsbury Shore in lane 6. Laura Kunkemuller, the starter, has begun notifying the crews of an imminent start. Flag is down. We have a start. So this is a medal race. This is the grand final. Medals awarded to first, second, and third place. And it looks like the 3 crews over on the Shrewsbury side, Radcliffe, Bucknell, and Northeastern, have all had nice starts. Boston College, Dartmouth in it as well, and Drexel fading off from the leaders right away. So at the outset, Dartmouth in lane 5 and Radcliffe in lane 1 both appear to have it going pretty well, with the three crews between them, Bucknell, Northeastern, and Boston College, fighting for position. Dartmouth out there in lane 2 really seems to have a nice rhythm here and may actually be up a little bit on those other four crews. And Drexel has worked its way back in. After a couple of soft strokes, it looks like they're getting back into it. As they cross in front of us at the north end of the Donahue Rowing Center dock, Radcliffe has established about a 3-foot lead on Dartmouth. Dartmouth by a seat over Bucknell. Bucknell by 2 seats over Northeastern. Northeastern by a half a length over Boston College. And we turn it over to Colleen.
And we are picking up the women's Varsity 4 Grand Final. Closest to us is Radcliffe. Next to them, Bucknell, Northeastern, BC, Dartmouth, and Drexel on the far side. Right now, Radcliffe leading this race over Dartmouth, over Bucknell, then Northeastern, Boston College, and Drexel on the far side. Radcliffe the clear leaders here, though. Bucknell looking solid in second, with Dartmouth in third, Northeastern in fourth, BC fifth, Drexel in sixth. It's Radcliffe by a length and half a length or so open water over Bucknell, who's really tight with Dartmouth for second, with the Huskies sitting solid in fourth. Right now, again, Radcliffe leading open water, but it's tight. Bucknell, Dartmouth really racing for second here in the second 500 of the Varsity 4 Grand Finals. It is Radcliffe, it's Bucknell in second. Can they hang on? Because here come the Huskies, seem to be pushing in, trying to take that third place position. Right now, it's Bucknell in second, maybe even Dartmouth, though. Tough to tell. Dartmouth seems to be making a move on the far side, maybe a hair behind Bucknell, who's holding on to their second place position by about a half a seat. Radcliffe, long and strong in this second 500-meter stretch. They are leading this race with open water. Here comes Dartmouth over Bucknell. Very, very tight. It looks to be Dartmouth over Bucknell by about 1 seat. Dartmouth moving on the far side. They just took a seat. They just took almost 2 seats. Right now, Dartmouth, Bucknell, very close, but it looks like Bucknell might have slight edge over Dartmouth in the middle of the second 5. Little bit tough to tell, but these crews are very close here. Dartmouth definitely up to something. Mid second 500, all of these crews now approaching the 1,000-meter mark. It is Dartmouth over Bucknell. Bucknell now in third, with Northeastern in fourth, BC fifth, and Drexel in sixth. Very tight race here, though, for second between Bucknell and Dartmouth, with the Huskies solid in fourth. Very, very tight between these crews. But it looks to be Dartmouth now edging Bucknell, maybe by a seat, maybe by a half a seat. Very, very tight. It's Radcliffe decidedly in first. It's bow ball to bow ball between Dartmouth and Bucknell. Dartmouth, though, now definitely on the move. They are solidly in second here, at least by a seat or 2. It's Bucknell in third, with the Huskies in fourth. Dartmouth now decidedly in third, making a move in this third 500 and in this stretch. It's Radcliffe, it's Dartmouth, it's Bucknell in third. Can the Huskies press into Bucknell to take over that third place position at just about 750 meters to go? Really tight, exciting racing from these crews here. Radcliffe leading the pack. Tight between Dartmouth and Bucknell here for second and third. Looks like Bucknell is maybe making a push. A little tough to tell from this angle, but Radcliffe decidedly in first. Bucknell seems to be answering Dartmouth as they approach the last 500 to go. Yes, it's Bucknell now moving back into the second position. Answered Dartmouth. Dartmouth lost a little bit of speed there. Bucknell gained some, and the Huskies in a very solid fourth position. Dodge in 5th, and Drexel in 6th. We'll hand it over for the last 5.
Harvard with a very slim margin over Dartmouth in the grand final of the Varsity 4A. So over in lane 6 in the far lane, it is Harvard holding on to the lead at 35 strokes a minute. Leading Dartmouth as the other crews begin to press into silver position contention. It's going to be a 3-boat race for 2 medals. Harvard now pulling away with a furious sprint. Harvard has opened up quite a bit of water, and they are sprinting for the line and the gold medal. Meanwhile, we have a 3-boat race for silver medal. Silver and bronze are going to be decided with one of these crews left behind. Right now, it's Bucknell in 2nd position, Northeastern in 3rd, with Dartmouth trailing in 4th by just 2 seats behind Northeastern. A race for medals, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place. Harvard already crossing the line in gold, but it's anyone. Dartmouth raising the rate, trying to get back in there for bronze. Unofficially, Bucknell, then Northeastern, followed by Dartmouth.
And as we move back up to the starting line for the first of the 4 final events of the afternoon, this is the petite final of the 2nd Varsity 8, 3:40 start time, race number 26. From the lane 1 side of the course, or the lane 0 side of the course, I should say, this is a 7-crew petite final. Buffalo in lane 0, West Virginia in lane 1, Rutgers lane 2, Georgetown lane 3, Bucknell lane 4, MIT lane 5, and Drexel out on the Shrewsbury shore closest to the Donahue Rowing Center in lane 6. So that's Buffalo, West Virginia, Rutgers, Georgetown, Bucknell, MIT, and Drexel. And the starter has started to announce the crews. And the starter has suspended the start. Get somebody repointed. Looks like that adjustment is being made. And the announcements have begun again. Flag is up. Flag is down, and we have a start. And we have a halt to racing. And it looks like they'll pull the crews back and have a restart. From our perspective, we're not quite sure what happens, although it looks like Radcliffe, or excuse me, not Radcliffe, it looks like Drexel may not have left their stake boat. But I'm sure the officials will sort it out and let us know. In the meantime, starter Laura Kunkemuller has asked all 7 crews to return to the stake boat, or possibly all 6 crews, because it looks like Drexel never left. And we'll get it sorted out and get it restarted shortly. All right, starter has recommenced the count. Flag is up. Flag is down. And this time it looks like everybody's left the starting line. So just to reacquaint you, Buffalo lane 1, West Virginia lane 0, West Virginia lane 1, Rutgers lane 2, Georgetown lane 3, Bucknell lane 4, MIT lane 5, and Drexel lane 6. Pretty much straight across in the early going. All these crews got away at about the same speed. A little difficult to sort out. Bucknell may have nosed its way out in front of Drexel and MIT. And it looks like they may have taken Georgetown with them, but Drexel looks to be doing a pretty good job over here on the lane 6 shore. But it's pretty tight all the way across. Colleen will give you details in about 8 or 9 strokes here. But as we come into the DRC, it looks like your early leaders are Drexel and Bucknell. Over to Colleen in the reporting boat.
And we are picking up the petite final of the women's second Varsity 8. Closest to us is Drexel, then MIT, Bucknell, Georgetown, Rutgers, West Virginia, and Buffalo. Again, all of these crews, second Varsity 8 competing to be the winner of the petite final. And it looks like it's Drexel right now leading the pack over Bucknell. All of these crews stepping in out of their starting sequence into the middle thousand. Very tight, very exciting race, but it's Drexel, it's Bucknell, and it looks like it's Georgetown. Solid third, but very tight. Rutgers actually slight advantage over Georgetown. These crews are very close for third. In fact, MIT has taken third. So right now it is Drexel, Bucknell, MIT in third, not by much. Right behind them is Rutgers, then Georgetown. And on the far side, we see West Virginia in Buffalo for 6 and 7. It's Drexel leading this race right now. Middle of the second 500, petite final, women's second varsity 8. It's Drexel, it's Bucknell. Bucknell gaining some speed to take that second place position in this petite final. They're starting to walk away a little bit from MIT. MIT pretty quick out of the gate, but now it's Bucknell taking water back from them. We see these margins start to expand here a little bit in the middle of the second 500 stretch. It's Drexel, it's Bucknell, and it's Rutgers in third. Rutgers has about a half a length advantage over MIT, who's in fourth. Georgetown's in fifth, but here come Buffalo and West Virginia. They are not far off for spots 6 and 7. It's Buffalo in 6, it's West Virginia in 7. Very, very exciting racing in the women's second varsity 8 petite final. Drexel's going though, and they're not looking back. They will be the first to step into the back half of this race. The second 1,000, here they go now. Can Bucknell clear MIT and Rutgers to gain an open water lead for that second place position? This is the petite final, second varsity 8. Right now it is Bucknell in second. MIT's not giving in though. They're fighting right now. They're in the fourth place position, but they're giving Rutgers a run for their money because Rutgers is in third. MIT's only a half a length down from then for that fourth place position. We see the Rutgers coxswain looking over to MIT, but it looks like Rutgers is starting to move back a little bit on MIT. We see Rutgers coxswain sitting on MIT's 3 seat. Now they're 2 seat. Rutgers is definitely taking some kind of a move on the far side. It is Drexel in first, it's Bucknell in second, it's Rutgers in third, MIT in fourth, and then it's a very exciting fight in the back of the pack as well. Georgetown has now Buffalo, it looks like, in fifth. West Virginia and Georgetown fighting for 6th and 7th here in the back of the pack. Stroke by stroke, it looks like it's West Virginia over Georgetown for spots 6 and 7. What's happening in the front of the pack? Well, Drexel is maintaining their lead. They're stepping into a pretty stiff headwind, as is the rest of the field. Bucknell sitting on this margin for a second spot position in the petite final. Bucknell now 1 length over Rutgers. It's Rutgers over MIT. We see that MIT has taken back some water from Rutgers. MIT still in fourth. Rutgers answering them now, but MIT only about a half a length behind Rutgers. Rutgers only about a half a length ahead of MIT. It's Drexel in first. It's Bucknell in second. In third, it's Rutgers with a very close MIT in fourth behind them. Right now, though, it will be Drexel, decidedly the leaders in this petite final, to walk into the last 500 first. We feel the wind picking up. There's now a pretty stiff headwind in the last 5. There goes Drexel. There goes Bucknell in second. It's Rutgers in third. MIT in fourth. Here comes the rest of the pack. We'll hand it over now.
3, 5, 7, 3, something like that. It looks like it's 3. Whoever that is, because I got to flip the whole thing. 7's out in front?
That would be my assumption.
Yeah, okay. I might make sense. Drexel? So that's Drexel, Rutgers, and Bucknell. It appears that we have Drexel on the lead with Rutgers in second place, and looks like maybe Bucknell in third. West Virginia and Georgetown also in the fray. In the final 250 meters, as they approach the crow's nest here, the picture becomes quite a bit clearer, with Drexel leading the petite final by open water. Bucknell in second place, followed by Rutgers, MIT, and then come West Virginia, Buffalo, and Georgetown. Winning the petite final for the second Varsity 8, it is Drexel. Bucknell in second, Rutgers in third, MIT in fourth, West Virginia, Buffalo, and Georgetown in that order. That's the...
All right, we're catching the second Varsity 8 grand final here as it comes by the boathouse. Radcliffe in first place over in lane 6, followed by Northeastern in lane 5, Dartmouth in lane 4. Columbia might have a slight edge on Dartmouth, Boston College in between, about a half length down, and then Boston University over in lane 1 trails the field by about a length. We'll stay with this until Colleen picks the boats up at about 600 meters at the 500-meter mark. It is Radcliffe by almost a length over Northeastern, Northeastern by almost a length over Dartmouth, Dartmouth by a half length over Columbia, Boston College sandwiched in between, and Boston University trailing over in lane 1. Over to Colleen Seville in the reporting boat.
Exciting. Looks like Columbia again. We'll see as we get a little bit closer here. It's Columbia, Radcliffe, and Northeastern battling. It's Radcliffe's slight advantage over Northeastern, and it's Radcliffe leading this race now over Columbia, over Northeastern. It is Radcliffe, it's Northeastern in second, it's Columbia in third. Here come the Huskies, though. They're sticking with Radcliffe. Radcliffe now moving towards their bow deck. It's Radcliffe up one length over Northeastern. Northeastern in second. Both of these crews really moving really nicely, and we start to see here comes Dartmouth moving into Columbia. This is a very tight race in the middle of the pack. Radcliffe are the leaders. Northeastern in a solid second. Here comes Dartmouth into Columbia. They are moving on Columbia. They are fighting for that third place medal. Radcliffe, though, out of the pack. Northeastern doing a great job keeping their bow ball right on Radcliffe's stern. It is Radcliffe, it is Northeastern in second, and it looks like it's Dartmouth in third. Huskies at a 36. Radcliffe at about a 35, 36. It is Radcliffe, Northeastern, Dartmouth by a hair over Columbia, and we see Boston College maintaining their contact on Dartmouth's stern. Radcliffe in first, Northeastern in second. Very close between Dartmouth and Columbia, but it's a Dartmouth advantage. Dartmouth third, Columbia fourth, Boston College fifth, and on the far side, we see Boston University in sixth. Radcliffe is the first to walk into the third 500. Huskies have an open water lead over Dartmouth. Huskies maintaining their contact pretty close to Harvard, pushing the rest of the field back. It's a Radcliffe, it's Northeastern, it is Dartmouth in third over Columbia. Let's see if Dartmouth can walk through Columbia in the third 500. Really, really tight for these crews right now. And it's Dartmouth over Columbia by about a seat, not even, maybe a seat. It's bow ball to bow ball for third. Who's going to walk away with a bronze medal here? It looks like Radcliffe is still maintaining first. Here come the Huskies, though. They are in the middle of a move right now. We can see the Huskies start to pick up a little bit of speed, up at a 36 strokes per minute, starting to move in on Radcliffe's lead a little bit, but Radcliffe maintaining an open water lead right now. Huskies coming out of that move, maintaining their second place position. Here comes Dartmouth for third. It's Dartmouth over Columbia, not by much. Columbia is answering them. Again, it is a fight right now for that third place position, for that bronze medal. It looks like it's Dartmouth, but it is a very, very tight race here. Northeastern, they are leading by one length open water over Dartmouth. Radcliffe, they're leading by about a half a length open water over Northeastern. All of these crews getting ready for the last 500. This is the women's second Varsity 8 grand final. Looks like it'll be Radcliffe to move into the last 500 first. a really tight race for third right now. Here comes Columbia answering Dartmouth. And Dartmouth, though, right now maintaining their lead over Columbia. Really tight. Huskies moving in, pressing into Dartmouth's lead a little bit here. Again, I would guess 6 seconds, 7 seconds between these crews. It is Radcliffe, it's Northeastern, it's Dartmouth, it's Columbia in fourth. We'll hand it over for the last 5.
Weight crews today have certainly been showing some degree of dominance over this event. Columbia, Dartmouth, and Northeastern challenging for the remaining medals. This is the second varsity grand final with Harvard on the lead, pulling away in the final 250 meters. Northeastern holding on to second. Dartmouth and Columbia locked in a battle for bronze. BU and BC are trailing. Meanwhile, at the front of the pack, Harvard, Radcliffe continuing to show dominance over the open weight portion of this regatta with an open water lead over Northeastern. Northeastern pressing hard not to let anything get away. Northeastern trying to cut into the Harvard lead. Those two boats are now 2 lengths clear of Dartmouth, who is just taken over third from Columbia. Columbia sprinting to try to keep within half a length of Dartmouth. But it's going to be all Harvard across the line, followed by Northeastern. And Dartmouth will claim bronze ahead of Columbia.
All right, so we're ready for the penultimate race here, the petite final of the Varsity 8 event, 4:05 start, race number 28. It appears that all 7 crews are on the stake boats. We have 3 minutes to go before race time. Starting out in lane 0 on the Worcester Shore as the skies brighten a little bit more. Buffalo in lane 0, West Virginia in lane 1, Bucknell lane 2, Georgetown lane 3, MIT lane 4, Drexel lane 5, and Boston University on the Shrewsbury Shore in lane 6. So again, from lane 0 to 6, Buffalo, West Virginia, Bucknell, Georgetown, MIT, Drexel, and Boston University. And we actually are seeing shadows on the water now. I don't know if the sun is actually out, but we have shadows. It's brightened up considerably. Hasn't gotten any warmer, but it at least has brightened up, and the shower activity we had about 15 minutes ago seems to have ended. 2 minutes to race time. The winds have diminished a little bit. We can hear the starter once again. We couldn't for a little while. The starter has just announced the 2-minute warning. And we should be underway momentarily. Again, while we have this little pause, we want to thank our partners at U.S. Rowing, specifically Willie Black, for his help with our broadcast today, and Steve Clay. Thank our host community at the Quinsigamond Rowing Association, who took responsibility for this regatta on very short notice after the dredging project in Camden on the Cooper River took longer than expected and canceled racing there this spring. Special thanks also to Katie Boldvich of U.S. Rowing and regatta director Chris Combs and his staff. And last but not least, the most visible face of U.S. Rowing at this regatta, U.S. Rowing's referee corps, who have given us outstanding service not only today, but yesterday and all spring here in Worcester. Thank you to our referee corps. Notification of the cruise has begun.
Drexel, Boston University. Attention.
And you heard the start. The crews are off. All 7 crews have left the stake boats and are now out from underneath the bridge. And it appears to have been a clean start. Equal spacing between the crews. Everybody seems to be centered on their lanes. And the early leader appears to be Boston University over in lane 6. Drexel moving out smartly alongside Boston University, MIT as well. And then Bucknell has a nice start over in lane 2. Again, BU, Drexel, MIT, and Bucknell, your early leaders. And I would say actually right now it looks like Bucknell and BU are the 2 crews in the lead positions. As they come up to the boathouse, it is BU, your early leader, by about 3 seats over Bucknell. Bucknell by about a seat over Drexel. Drexel by a seat over MIT. MIT 3 seats over Georgetown. Georgetown a half a length over West Virginia. And Buffalo 1 length down to West Virginia. And over to Colleen Seville in the reporting boat.
Drexel, MIT, Georgetown, Bucknell, West Virginia, Buffalo. This is a 7-boat race, and it looks like it's going to be an exciting one. It's Boston University leading the pack as we move into the middle Not by much, though, with West Virginia in 6th and Buffalo on the far side in 7th. Looks like West Virginia has overtaken Georgetown now. West Virginia just about 1 seat over Georgetown, but again, leading this race is Boston University in 1st place. 2nd is Drexel, and 3rd is Bucknell, with a close MIT in 4th. Right now, Boston University and Drexel are overlapped, meaning Drexel's pushing into their stern deck. I'd say less than a 4-second margin here in the second 500 between Boston University for 1st and Drexel in 2nd in this petite final. We see Bucknell on the far side starting to walk away from MIT a little bit to solidify their 3rd place position. In fact, so much so that they seem to be coming really close to Drexel here in the 2nd place position. Drexel still looks to be in the 2nd place position, though, with Boston University still leading this race. BU, Drexel in 2nd, on the far side of Bucknell in 3rd, with MIT in 4th. Really tight race here, though, for 3rd and 4th. Right now, Boston University on fire, though, in this petite final. They've gained an open water lead over Drexel, who's sitting in 2nd. Drexel has answered Bucknell on the far side. Looks like Drexel's in some kind of a move right now because they've just taken at least 2 seats from Bucknell to start to solidify their 2nd place position in this petite final. Right now, it's Drexel over Bucknell by a half a length. Drexel is also moving on MIT as well. Drexel now almost 1 length up over MIT. MIT sitting in 4th. Bucknell's in 3rd. 2nd is Drexel, and 1st is BU. They haven't looked back in this petite final. They're moving and continuing to take some more water as we look towards the last 500. Right now, in the middle of the 3rd 5, it's Boston University with an open water lead over Drexel. Drexel really got to work there in the middle of this race because now they're almost at an open water lead over both MIT and Bucknell. In fact, they have it over MIT. They just about have it over Bucknell. Here comes MIT, by the way, ready to fight Bucknell for that 3rd place position. Really tight racing for 3rd in this petite final. MIT is up to something right now. Very, very tight. It looks like MIT's bow ball actually might be crossing over Bucknell's for a 3rd place. Very tight between 3rd and 4th. I'd say MIT has the lead now for 3rd. Drexel decidedly in 2nd. Drexel staking their claim in that 2nd place position. We'll see if they can close in on BU. Pretty stiff headwind for these crews approaching the last 500. It is Boston University in this petite final. It is Drexel in 2nd. It is Bucknell in 3rd. Bucknell has answered MIT and said no way because they've just taken back about 1 to 2 seats over MIT to solidify their 3rd place position. MIT's answering Bucknell now on the far side. Here comes MIT approaching the last 500. It's going to be a really tight race in this petite final for 3rd, but it's very solidly Boston University in 1st, Drexel 2nd. I'd say MIT 3rd, Bucknell 4th, Georgetown 5th, and we'll hand it over for the last 5.
In the Varsity 8 petite final, Boston University, the leader in lane 7, comfortably out in front. The contenders, Drexel in lane 6, Bucknell in lane 3, MIT in lane 5, followed by Georgetown, West Virginia, and Buffalo. Boston University shot out to the lead early, a lead that they've held the entire way, and with 250 meters to go, a lead that they appear to be able to hold all the way to the finish line. It does not look like, barring any unforeseen circumstances, Boston University can be caught for claiming 7th place at 39 strokes a minute. BU sprinting to the finish line. Open water clear of Drexel. Drexel in turn a length up on MIT. Bucknell, Georgetown, West Virginia, and Buffalo trailing.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114,
A length more or less separating every crew in this event. Advantage BU as they win the Varsity Petite Final of the Eastern Women's Sprints 2016 Sprint Championships. Claiming 7th place, Boston University. Drexel comes next. MIT, Bucknell, Georgetown, West Virginia, and Buffalo.
Minutes as we cast our glance back at the starting line. 2 minutes before the last race of the day, the grand final of the Varsity 8 event. In lane 1, Rutgers. Lane 2, Columbia. Lane 3, Boston College. Lane 4, Dartmouth. Lane 5, Northeastern. And lane 6, Harvard Radcliffe. Again, that's Rutgers, lane 1, Columbia, lane 2, Boston College, lane 3, Dartmouth, lane 4, Northeastern, lane 5, and Radcliffe in lane 6 on the Donahue Rowing Center side of the race course. And here we go. Crews are being notified at the line.
Northeastern. Radcliffe. Attention.
Flag is up. Flag is down. We have a start. And all 6 crews are off the line. Radcliffe and Northeastern both cleanly off, as is Dartmouth in lane 3. Boston College in lane 4 as well, and Columbia, all 6 crews actually off nicely, and it looks like Radcliffe has peaked out to an early lead. Radcliffe by a couple of seats at 250 meters or so, it appears, and then the other 5 crews are pretty much straight across, with the exception of Boston College, which has fallen back a couple of seats. The crews come up on the Donahue Rowing Center. It is Radcliffe by about 2 to 3 seats, maybe a little bit more on Northeastern. Northeastern a like amount of heart ahead of Dartmouth. Dartmouth by 2 seats ahead of Columbia. BC has fallen back 3/4 of the length on Dartmouth, and Rutgers is about 2 seats up on Boston College. And we hand it over to Colleen Seville for the ride down the middle 1,000.
Dartmouth, Boston College, Columbia, and Rutgers on the far side. Radcliffe are our leaders right now. Northeastern in second. Really tight racing here out of the line. These crews stepping into the second 1,000. It is Radcliffe, Northeastern. It is Columbia and Dartmouth fighting for third. Dartmouth very close. It looks like it's Dartmouth for third, Columbia for fourth, although this is a very, very tight race for third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. Beautiful work, though. Looking ahead, we see Northeastern pushing the rest of the field back for first and second place. Dartmouth and Columbia are still fighting for third right here. I'd say it's Columbia right now with Dartmouth in fourth, followed by Rutgers on the far side, and Boston College trailing. It is Radcliffe. We have a really stiff headwind up here, definitely stronger than the last race. Let's see which one of these crews can handle this wind the best. Definitely a big headwind picking up. It's all about blade work, all about legs, and right now it's Radcliffe and Northeastern first and second, handling these conditions quite nicely. We see a crossover on the far side. Columbia now taking third. They are decidedly in third by at least a couple seats over Dartmouth, who's then over Rutgers on the far side. Right now, again, Radcliffe maintaining their lead over Northeastern by about 1 length. Northeastern has about 1 length open water over the rest of the field, definitely over Columbia, over Dartmouth, over Rutgers on the far side, and then trailing with Boston College in 6th place. It is Radcliffe and Northeastern who are the clear leaders of this race right now. In fact, Northeastern pressing back into Radcliffe, not letting them take any open water here as we move into the second half of this race. Northeastern up around a 34, 35. Radcliffe up there as well. We see a little bit less of a gust. We saw some really tough conditions in the second 500. Let's see if they get better in the second 1,000. It is Radcliffe, Northeastern, Columbia in third, Dartmouth in fourth, Rutgers in fifth, Boston College in sixth. It is a race for third right now, and Columbia currently has it. Columbia up about 2-3 seats over Dartmouth, who's in fourth. It's going to be a battle for that bronze medal. The first and second place positions are clear, though. This is Radcliffe and Northeastern clearly leading this race. Total command of the race right now in the third 500. We feel a little bit more gusts of wind coming up. Again, these rowers looking for really clean blade work and big legs as they press in to the last 750 or so of this race. It is Radcliffe leading 1 length over Northeastern, about 4 seconds. It is Northeastern in second, and then the rest of the pack maintaining these margins, about 1 boat length, 2 boat lengths open water behind Northeastern. We see Columbia in third, and we see Dartmouth in fourth. It is a fight for bronze between Columbia and Dartmouth right now as we move through with just about 650 meters to go. Right now it's Columbia. Dartmouth taking a move. Dartmouth vying for third. They're after that bronze medal. Dartmouth is moving and starting to move to press into Columbia right now. Up at about a 37 stroke, 36 stroke, 37 strokes per minute. These crews are fighting this headwind, pressing, and it is a fight for third right now. It is Columbia over Dartmouth for that third position. It is very tight, though. Here comes Dartmouth. Dartmouth is up to something right now because they've just taken a seat back. It's bow ball to bow ball for third. Right now, Northeastern pushing in to Radcliffe. Right now, I'd say contact Northeastern shell on Radcliffe. She's looking behind her. Here comes the rest of the crews for the last 500.
They have been doing all day, leading the pack through into the final 500 of the last race of the day, the Varsity 8, the top of the pack. These are the big dogs among all the crews here. And in the Varsity 8, once again, the Radcliffe juggernaut out in front. Northeastern has been giving chase all day, trying to break into that top rank. They hold on to a clear second. It is those two crews dominating this race, while Columbia and Dartmouth battle for bronze. Northeastern trying to get on terms with Radcliffe with a late sprint in 250 meters to go. Northeastern giving chase, closing water on Radcliffe. Northeastern trying to make a better race of it. Northeastern up to 38.5 strokes a minute, doing everything they can to put a dent in that Radcliffe lead, and these two crews are leaving everybody behind. It is Radcliffe out in front by 3/4 of a length, with Northeastern giving chase. There's 100 meters to go. Radcliffe still holding on to that lead as those two crews sprint away from the field. It's a two-boat race with Radcliffe, Coxon on bow ball, Coming to the line, the gold medal is going to Radcliffe as Northeastern claims silver, and Dartmouth sprinting into third position. 4 lengths back will take the bronze, a length ahead of Columbia.
An exciting finish to a weekend of racing here in Worcester. Thank you all very much for watching. Drive home safely if you're not home already. And we'll be back here next Sunday, Mother's Day, May 8th, for the National Invitational Rowing Championships, and the following Sunday, May 15th, for the EARC Men's Eastern Sprints. Thanks for watching, and have a great week.